Yo, what is up, guys? My name is Brian Barron here, and today we're continuing on with our um, Minecraft plugin programming, whatever you want to call it. So today's episode, I I always leave off the casting, so during this video, I'm actually going to make a plugin that includes casting, and I could probably explain it there. So I don't know. I find it better to teach people if it's in an example. I find it if they'll understand better. So here we're just gonna make a new Java project, and I'm gonna name this YouTube 2. Whatever. We'll just make it YouTube 2 because we're not gonna touch this. We're not gonna touch that. Yep. Save. X. We're going to do all the stuff that we did before. meet.brian.youtube2, and we can make a new class called main. Like I said, like I said before, you can change this to anything, but it's just my preference, and I think it's better practice to do that. File plugin.yml. We always want to get the plugin.yml. Oh, and we have to get the Spigot jar. So we're gonna get the Spigot jar. Okay, where are you? Okay. So basically, we're just gonna set everything up. Control Shift O. And what the? Oh my God. Okay. So basically, what we're gonna be doing today is we are going to be making a plugin that sets the spawn location. So in Essentials, you'll essentially have a /spawn command, and here we're just gonna make the same exact thing, but I made a way so it has a casting method, and it'll be a lot easier to explain. But before I do that, I want to explain a little bit about casting first. So I'm going to make a main statement. Main statement is basically in Java. This is where everything starts. Basically in bucket, this is your, oh no, in Java, this is your on enable, basically. That's your on enable. So everything that goes in here, when the program starts, it happens in here. So in the, if you want to cast something, casting is basically just turning something that it's transitioning to something else. So here's an example. So if integer is not int, we'll just name it that, is equal to 9.3. This doesn't work because this isn't an integer, but if we change it to a double, it'll work fine, but we want it to keep it as an integer. So right now this is a double, and we have to cast it to transition it to an integer so it fits in. So if we cast this as an integer, see, it works, but what's gonna happen here is instead of it staying 9.3, it's going to round it off. So in this case, 9.3, it's gonna round it to 9. If it's like 5, it'll round it up. If it's below 5, it will round it down. So basically, I hope I kind of explained it and it doesn't confuse you too much, but that's basically what casting is. So what's going to happen here is we're going to make our public void on enable. Oh, I can't type. Okay, there. And we're going to make our public void on disable. We are going to register the events. Oh, whoops. My gosh. Bucket.get plugin manager. And that's that. we just gotta import that, and we can do pm.register events. Yeah. Today, register events. This. Alright, so we registered the events, and inside of here, what's wrong? Oh, we have to implement listener. Okay, that makes sense. So did I not? Right there. So inside our on enable, we are going to make a config. We've never done this before, so this will be our first. So if get config, this is assuming that we already have a config file, which we will make in a second, because this is going to be our spawn locations. And if get config that contains there, contains spawn, we're going to make integer x equals get config dot get integer. It's going to be spawn dot x. I'm just going to make a couple of these. Bam. There's x, y, z. There's going to be pitch and yaw. Basically, pitch and yaw is where your player is facing. If, like, yeah, it's basically where your player is facing. That's all you need to know about it. And pitch and yaw are actually floats. I'm pretty sure they're floats. Oops. And we're going to make this a float. X, Y, Z, pitch, and yaw. Okay. So we also have to make. Oh no, let's just change this first. Y, Z. What the? Okay. Spawn.pitch and spawn.yaw. So in here we have to make a string that gets the world name. So string world name, we're going to do equals get config dot get string. We're just gonna do spawn dot world name. Simple as that. And this string will get the config and it'll print out spawn a world name. So let's see. And we have to make a spawn location. So up here we're gonna do location spawn location equals let's do that. And then so we have a spawn location, and we're going to do spawn location. Actually, we're just going to get the spawn location. We're going to put in here get spawn location, and we're going to do equals new location, which is going to be bucket.get world, the string world name, and we're going to go x, y, z, and we have to capitalize the bucket, and that should be that. That should work. Yep, it works. And we're going to use spawn location dot set pitch, and we're going to do pitch, and we're going to spawn location dot set yaw. We're just gonna set that to yaw. And basically what's happening here is we're just getting the spawn location and we're setting the yaw to the spawn get yaw, which is right there. So let me see what else we need. We're just gonna return that. You guys know what a return is. You guys should understand everything that's happening here, but I'm just gonna okay, no, you don't know what's happening here actually. So if the config, so basically it's just getting the config, and it has the spawn. So basically in the config, this is what it looks like. It looks like this: spawn, and then you'll have 2 spaces or whatever. Oops. And then it'll have y, or no, x, because x here. So every dot, it just kind of skips to the next line, and it puts in the next variable or whatever, and that's x. And then here it'll be y. It's basically like the plugin.yml. So in the plugin.yml, it will look like this: spawn, and then you'll have x, and you have y, oh, and then you'll have y, you'll have z, you have pitch, and etc, etc, etc. That's what it'll look like inside of the config, because the dot just kind of like skips to the next line, and it gives you the next thing. So that's what's basically happening here, and it'll have world name too. So let's get rid of that. You guys will see in the config. So we're going to make a on command. So we're gonna make an on command. That's a shorter way to just make your on commands. Like, that's how I make my on commands. I'm too lazy to do mine. Okay, so we don't need this. We can just return false. And control I. Okay, whatever. We're gonna return false. We're gonna do this. We're gonna indent this properly. And here we are with on command. So in a command, we're gonna check if the player that, or the person that's doing this, if the player that's, or the person that's using the command is an operator. And if he is an operator, then we're going to do player equals player sender. We're going to import player, and we're going to wait. That will have an error. Okay, so this is where the casting comes in. So basically, this is going to return a string, or no, it's going to return an integer. So it'll get the integer, but what's going to be happening here? And I lied. This has to be a double. And that's why it's going to give us these errors. So a float and a double are completely different things. A double will have decimal places. A float's just a really large number. So remember that example I told you about with the integer? We just need to cast this as a float, because you want this pitch to be a float, so you have to cast this as a float, and that should, yeah, see, that gives us no errors. So basically what's happening is we're just turning this into a float, and it will just round the number up or down. I hope I explained that right. But I will leave the bucket, or no, I'm gonna leave some Java wikis to casting. So if you guys don't understand, my English isn't the best, so if you don't understand, you can just go to the wikis and you can read about it, and I'm sure you'll understand after you get the casting. So if the sender is an op, we're going to get spawn location, and we're going to make it equals to player.getLocation, because we want that to, what's happening here? Okay, so I can't do that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Spawn location there. And what's happening here is we're just gonna do spawn location equals new. Okay, there. That should work. Yep, that gives. Inside of here, we're just gonna do player.getLocation, I think. Okay, so get config. So we're gonna get the config, and we're gonna set the spawn.x, we're gonna make a comma. Oh, oops. We're gonna make a comma here, and we're gonna do player dot get location. Did I spell location? Right. No. Okay. Get location dot get x, and so basically what's happening here is, oh, I forgot the dot in here. Okay. So what's happening here is when the player does the command slash set spawn, we're gonna check if he is an operator. If he's an operator, we're gonna get the player. We're gonna get the spawn location of the player, and we're just gonna get the X, Y, Z of that location that the player is on, and this pitch now, of course. And we're just gonna store it inside of our config. So get config dot set spawn dot y, and we're gonna do player dot get location dot get y. See, and instead of just doing this, I just did those for explaining purposes. X, Y, Z, pitch, yeah, there. So that's that, and we're going to save the config. We're just gonna go Z, whoops, has to be capitals. Get pitch, get yaw, and we're gonna do spawn.yaw, spawn.pitch, spawn.z, and that should work. After we save the config, we're going to send the player a message, players.send message. We're gonna say you've set the spawn to this location. There. Let me think. So what we want to do is we want to make a player join event. So when a player joins, okay. So I'm just trying to think how this is gonna play out. Public void on player join event and we're just gonna do that, and we're gonna import all that, and we're gonna do if how do we check if the player is a new player? Sorry guys. Oh, I forgot to if label dot equals in our case. And we're gonna do set spawn, and if the player is up, if the player is up, it's gonna do that. Okay. I'm just trying to think how we're gonna do this. I mean, damn, this is harder than I thought. I didn't think this through. I've just been coding this like on the fly, and just now I'm getting a problem. So on the player join event, we're going to player is equal to e.get, and no, because this isn't a def. So e.get player, and we're going to do if the player dot. I'm just gonna see what I can do here. Dot if the player. Oh, here we go. If the player has played before. So if the player has not played before, then we are going to If the player has not played before, then we are going to do this. We are going to do let me think. I want to see how we're going to play this out. Player's not played before, then we're going to do player dot send message. No, yeah, we're going to do player dot send message. Welcome to the server. And we're going to do player dot teleport to spawn location. There we go. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial. We've registered the event and we've made a spawn location. I somewhat explained to you what casting is. Casting, if you want to cast a string or you want to cast a class, it has to be a subclass of something. And a subclass is basically like, you know what a subclass is. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you know English, you should know what a subclass is. So I'm just gonna recap what's going on here. So what's happening here is it's getting the plugin manager. We're just making the shortcut for PM. We're registering the events here for all the events. So this is our event, and we are going to we're going to make an integer called x, and we're going to get the config, and we're just going to set spawn x inside of there, as well as y, as well as z, as well as pitch and yaw, and we're going to make a string inside of the config, and we are just going to get the world name. So, and the spawn location is going to be a location inside of the world to get world name, and we're just gonna set it to XYZ, which is here, and the player's XYZ. We're gonna set it to the player's XYZ, and we're gonna get the player's world. There's a better way to do this. No, we're gonna leave it like that, and we're going to we're gonna set the pitch of the spawn location to the pitch, which is this, and we're going to set the yaw to yaw, which is this, the player's yaw and pitch. So it'll, when the player goes to spawn, or when the player first joins, right, when the player first joins, they will spawn in exactly how the player typed in /spawn, and where, exactly where. On disable, there's nothing, we don't need anything in the on disable. And no, okay. We made a on command method, and the command name is /set spawn. If the LCD, if the sender, which is the player that did the command, is an operator, we're going to set the spawn location to that player's location. And we're going to get the config, and we're going to set the player's location. We're going to set the x inside of the config to the player's x, to the player's y, and so on and so forth. We're going to save the config. We're going to send the player a message. You set the spawn to this location. We're going to return. If anything happens wrong, we're going to return. And we're going to make this. We made this event handler when the player joins. If the player has never joined before, then we're going to teleport them to this spawn location, and we are going to send them a message saying welcome to the server, and that's that. And in our plugin, the YML, we have to do name. We're going to name this YouTube2 main. We're going to do me.brian.youtube2, and we're going to do version. The version will be 1.0. The author is Brian, or your name. In my case, it's Brian. We're gonna make the commands, and we are going to do what was the command? Set spawn. Was that set spawn? Let me see. Yeah, set spawn. I'm gonna do description sets the spawn for all new players. So that's that, guys. This is the complete plugin. This is how you make how you set a spawn. You can alter this the way you want to make it fit for your server if you're making a set spawn plugin. And I hope I helped some of you guys today. I explained a little bit about casting, and yeah, so thank you for watching if you made it this far. I hope this works for you. If this does not work for some reason, please post the error inside of the description. If it doesn't work, someone or I will help you out. It'll probably be me, considering the amount of viewers I have. So yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Click the wrong Camtasia. Later.